Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did for the last question for this question, except this time we're looking at 1 plus cotangent squared of theta equals cosecant squared of theta. So I want you to take a second and pause the video and think about how you could rewrite this another way. Great. I assumed you paused the video by now, and I hope you got right to work. Let's rewrite this in terms of sine of thetas and cosines of thetas, and we're going to use the identities we learned. So let me see if you got it. Here we go. Well, 1 is just 1, and then plus cotangent of theta. Remember, that was our x divided by y, so I could rewrite that as cosine of theta over sine of theta. And remember, this is squared. So we're going to have the cosine squared of theta over sine squared theta. And it'll be equal to cosecant squared theta. And remember, cosecant squared of theta is our reciprocal for sine. So I could write this as 1 over y, which was the identity 1 over sine of theta. Now, because cosecant is squared, we're going to say this is sine 1 over sine squared theta. All right. Now, looking at this, we'll do the same thing we did with the last problems. We do not like dealing with fractions, so let's go ahead and get rid of our fractions now. Let's multiply everything, both numerator and denominator, by the sine squared of theta. We're going to multiply that by sine squared of theta. And once we do that, notice this simplifies to, well, 1 times sine squared of theta is just sine squared of theta. And then we can get rid of the denominators because we multiply by the denominator. So when I multiply cosine squared of theta over sine squared of theta by sine squared of theta, those sine squareds cancel and I'm just left with the numerator cosine squared theta, which is equal to, let's see, when we multiply sine squared of theta by 1 over sine squared of theta, remember both of those cancel, so we're just left with 1. So we have the sine squared of theta plus the cosine squared of theta is equal to 1. Well, hey, there is our Pythagorean identity. And yeah, these are just flip-flop, but that's okay. It works with addition that we can do that. So this is the Pythagorean identity. So we know that 1 plus cotangent squared of theta equals cosecant squared of theta is true because it's just our Pythagorean identity written another way. All right, guys, if you work that out before watching the video and you got it, yes, give yourself a pat on the back. I am impressed.